The Scribe review will be along in the not too distant future. I'm going to give you some scores today though. So one thing we're going to do today is I'm going to give you some scores of how these rank in the comparison table that I use. We'll be actually ranking them in. I'm not going to give you too much time discussing each one, but just so you can still see where the Kindle Scribe and the Books Tab Ultra are fitting in the way that I rank these tablets, the kind of different comparison matrices that I use. Okie dokie, so let's get into the first one. And the first thing is we're going to actually be ranking the Kindle Scribe and the Onyx Boox X Ultra. So I'm going to show that in here. Now coming through. You've perhaps seen the two videos here, Kindle Scribe, full review coming soon on that, and the Books Tab Ultra. So we want to know where do they fit among all the other excellent Eink tablets that I have reviewed. Well, one way that I review Eink tablets is like this. It's to consider professional behaviors. So one thing I think about is the things you have to do as a professional and whether the Eink tablet helps you out with those or not. I'm just going to start with the Books Tab Ultra. You can see it's absolutely boss for communication, especially with that keyboard. It can be an email machine for you. It's fabulous. For planning and organization, it's the new leader for planning and organization. I think it can be a great planner for you, especially like the calendar tools. And the widgets are very useful, as is the calendar, and it can actually see which notes you worked on which day, which is really nice. Yeah, that's a really nice, the integration of the widgets and especially the little notes, memos and things like that are really, really great for your planning and organization. It's right up there in innovation and creation, as you can see. And it's the professional behaviors comparison, it's the leader there. For writing, it was a bit difficult. I didn't quite give it the top, even though it's got the keyboard, there as well. I think the screen feel just maybe let it down ever so slightly. But if it was for like academic writing, if it was for making a book or something like that, then it would have the features. Using the voice recognition along with the keyboard is great. Okay, so it might, depends on what type of writing you're talking about. If you're talking about handwriting, maybe a screen fill would be a bit better. For writing, that was difficult. For art, it's actually almost remarkable because it does have tilt, as we actually discovered on a recent live feed. In the pencil tool, it does actually have the ability to tilt, which only really the Remarkable apart from it does. So that's fabulous. I think the tools aren't quite as good as the Remarkable tools are. For work, it's an absolute no-brainer. It's the leader of that. I've heard a few people have had issues with the Microsoft Work versions of apps. I think that might sit with the organization rather than books in terms of do you actually have those work versions? But company portal, it does need maybe a little bit of a smoother integration there. So I'm not sure about the ins and outs of that one. Hopefully that's going to be solved in future updates. Design and presenting, yeah, it's fabulous for that. It's as good as it gets in the e-ink world for design and for presenting. So again, on the use cases, so these are all the different use cases you might have, it again comes out absolutely top there. And then lastly, it's the best for using other apps. It's got a great reading app, just like all Books devices do. See, they're all 9. The standout thing, and the reason why it's great for other apps, is the GPU it's got in there, and that's going to be great to see that in the Books Tab Ultra, which we'll talk about a little bit later as well in this stream. Its features, the hardware features are absolutely fabulous. Fingerprint reader, scanner, keyboard case, microphones, speakers. It's a winner for that kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, the fingerprint reader alone is just, it's just one of those things that they could all add pretty quickly. Books Tab Ultra wins on all 3 of the ranking tests. Wins hands down, okay? And right now, I'm going to say this, it's easily the best Eink tablet that you can buy. Okay, so on to the Scribe. Where does that now sit with the rankings? So I haven't actually released a full review, but I have sort of made up my mind where it sits with a lot of different, all these different rankings. As I've already told you that it's not going to be the top, which might have been a bit of a surprise. I'm going to have to remove the banner because you can't see that bit on there. It's the lowest score on the first ranking system, I think, bar none. On the professional behaviors, it's not a tablet that you're particularly thinking to yourself is going to be for use at work. It is a reader. Okay, it is a reader. So none of these kind of reading and learning is 7, but it's behind probably, especially because this is about learning for professional behaviors. Having the biggest screen on the Lumi is going to make that that much better, the A4 size screen. It's okay for thinking, and it's actually quite nice to draw on. I'm showing this drawing that I made in an art class at school. I'm not an art teacher, but I was covering a lesson. So yeah, it's the lowest score on that kind of professional behaviours. I wouldn't recommend it if you're buying a tablet for work, therefore. In the use cases, it does win along with the Max Lumi. For that reason, I've just discussed the large size for academic reading. It does win reading. And its design is not the worst, and it doesn't quite lose the use cases. I think it's got some redeeming features, and that's why we really came up, and you guys helped me out with the final way of comparing. We actually came up with the flow category, and let's have a little look at the final way of comparing now and the ranking for the Kindle Scribe. Again, the reading app comes out top, along with joint top with all the books devices for the reading app. Kindle reading, it is good. Let's just face that. But the other apps are actually laughable, and we spent a lot of time laughing at the browser in the previous stream. Pen and screen feel is pretty great. I don't know where the pen's gone. The actual feeling on the screen is very good. It is a nice paper-like feeling. This bit is quite good, and the latency, as tested out by Voya, is very, very low. It's the lowest according to its test. The pen and screen feel is great. Sorry, the software features are obviously lacking, but this ranking, the features here, I've given it a 6, is actually for hardware features. And well, the hardware features 300 DPI, dual lights, different colored lights, Bluetooth for speakers and audiobooks. And the pen, the nice thing about the pen is that it has that highlighter button and an eraser. So you've got really quite a lot of features on the pen. So the hardware features are quite good, and this device can certainly be fixed by hardware features are pretty good. I've given the flow category pretty high, and I've given the updates a 5. The updates are 5 because I don't know yet. It needs to happen. So, we'll wait and see on that one. But the subjective category, the kind of flow category, is a very easy to use device, and therefore it does quite well in the flow category. It's nice. It's a nice device to use, and it is easy to get started and get working with. It's an enjoyable device in all the kind of tactile ways that we enjoy tech. It is a good device. And back to my drawing of the butterfly there. You can see I have enjoyed using this device despite some of the software limitations. The design and build one, though, I've talked about that a little bit. I'm not so sure. I think the design and build is as premium as before, as some other devices are. So that's that. It's not the bottom of this type of comparison, but it is not top either. Some other surprises when I went back through these just recently is that Remarkable's writing score, I had to increase that a little bit. And the reason I've increased Remarkable's writing score, we're going to discuss it a little bit later on, is because now of software update 3.0, Remarkable 3. I think Remarkable 3 might well be just around the corner. Okay, the handwriting recognition is good. Handwriting recognition does work accurate most of the time. And I think that also makes it a bit of a better communication tool as well. You can use those features to write and communicate with other people as well. And also the writing scores for the Supernote has gone up as well. And the writing score for the Kobo has gone down because although the recognition is good compared now to the others and the direct comparisons, then it is not quite, it's not quite where... It's not quite where the others are. Let me ask you this, though. What do you guys hope for Remarkable 3? What is it that you're thinking is going to come in the next hardware? If the software update 3.0 has come out, then surely the hardware 3 is going to come in the not too distant future.